Tonight, Cascade County Sheriff Jesse Slaughter responds to a letter from district judges in Great Falls about mask enforcement in the county. Plus,
burning relentlessly for more than 24 hours, I'm Annie Johnson with an update on the Bridger Foothills fire.
And later, spectators were able to be on the sidelines at a high school sporting event in Helena for the first time this year. We'll hear about what it means to parents to be able to cheer on their student athletes.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Thanks so much for spending your Saturday night with us, and a happy Labor Day weekend. I'm Matt Holzaffel. We start tonight with breaking news. Great Falls High School has reported 2 positive cases of COVID-19 this evening. The Cascade City County Health Department notified the district of the confirmed cases earlier today. The district said in a press release, quote, "The GFPS nursing team and administrators are working with the health department staff to complete the contact tracing process. The classrooms and the building at Great Falls High are being sanitized over the holiday week. At this point, there will be school as usual on Tuesday, September 8th at Great Falls High School," end quote. We'll keep you updated on the breaking news as it develops and as we hear more from the school district. Speaking of the pandemic, here's what we're looking at for latest coronavirus numbers around the state. A significant drop in the number of active cases since yesterday, down to 1,843 there. We are approaching 8,200 total confirmed cases in Montana. Lewis and Clark County reporting 207 confirmed cases, but only 14 active. Cascade County, however, still showing 173 active cases and 372 total confirmed cases. Last night we told you about district court judges speaking out after MTN News reported a Cascade County man had been jailed for contempt of court after refusing to wear a mask during jury selection. Last week, that person was sent to jail after refusing to obey a Missoula judge's order to wear a face covering. We talked with Sheriff Jesse Slaughter following the incident, who disagreed with the substitute judge's order and told MTN News the mask order was contentious to say the least. Slaughter also claimed he had been assured he would not be put in a position where deputies would have to arrest a citizen for mask noncompliance. But a letter signed by Judges Elizabeth Best, John Koosman, and John Parker sent to MTN last night denied any such reassurance. The letter said the sheriff misunderstood. Judges had told him they would prefer not to send otherwise law-abiding people to jail, but would take such action if necessary. The judges also said Slaughter created an impression that he and his deputies may be reluctant to enforce legally binding court orders designed to protect the public from illness and death. Sheriff Slaughter had this to say today in response to last night's letter.
I have the highest respect for the 8 district court judges. I consider some of them friends and colleagues. What happens in their court is completely their jurisdiction, and I respect that and I honor that. I just want to make sure that the public understood that I didn't agree necessarily with that one decision.
And we'll continue to follow this story and provide you with any updates or developments as they come out. Continuing our coverage of the Bridger Foothills fire, so far hundreds of acres burned, and officials tell us tonight's the big night as they expect it to burn even more going into Sunday. MTN's Annie Johnson has been near the scene all day, and she has more on what she's seen.
Just so much uneasiness in the air as the Bridger Foothills fire continues to burn. The fire has been burning for well over 24 hours and can be seen from so many different parts in Bozeman, and residents tell me that they're just so sad to see something like this happen in their community.
It makes you more concerned, and also it brings it right to your face. You know, here it is right in front of your face. There's the fire.
The fire burning in several spots just north of the M hiking trail, destroying over 400 acres of land and requiring hundreds of emergency personnel and vehicles to come together, each playing an important role.
What our role is we're responsible for shutting down the highways, doing warnings, doing evacuations.
Friday, neighboring residents were warned about the fire, but Saturday, hundreds of people were asked to leave.
That was the biggest thing, was once that fire came over on that side and started moving down towards the structures, that's when we had to move people out.
As of now, the only injuries reported have been firefighters and emergency responders. All hikers and residents have been safely relocated.
Biggest concern is just people that live up in the Bridger Foothills on the other side now. This side, there weren't many people living around there, but on the other side, there's a lot of houses and structures and livestock and just, animals.
And the weather seems to only be in favor of the fire.
Tonight's the big one. This is with this wind event that we're having come through. We knew that this was coming. We prepared for it. But hopefully Monday looks better, and we're knocking on wood.
It's going to be out of control. It's a very bad terrain for anybody to walk up to. and all they can really do is just keep it from burning structures down. They're not going to be able to stop it.
People have been asked to stay away, but dozens have stopped by to drop off water and other supplies.
The number one thing people can do at this point, other than emergency personnel, is just stay out of the way and stay in a safe place. Reporting near Bridger Mountains, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
And I'll keep you updated on that fire as emergency crews continue to fight it. Well, today was a warm day across the Treasure State, so let's go ahead and send it over to meteorologist Grant Garland in the Weather Center. Hey, Grant.
Hey Matt, good evening. Good evening everyone. It definitely was a very warm day. We had 97-degree temperatures here in the Electric City and 98 down towards Helena. If you headed on out towards Glasso, you saw temperatures right around 90 degrees and 93 in Havre. Currently though, sitting at 70 in the Electric City, 75 in the capital, 69 in Havre, and 64 in Jordan. Overall, winds right now aren't too bad. 9 miles an hour in Great Falls, 15 in Cutbank, and 12 in Helena and Lewistown, even though we were seeing some breezy conditions earlier. We are looking at 9 miles visibility that just updated. It was at less visibility earlier. 8 miles visibility in Helena, all thanks to those the smoke that has been able to move in. And we're seeing our air quality right now unhealthy for sensitive groups here in Great Falls and other places looking at moderate levels. Overall, clouds moving towards Bozeman and Billings, no problems there. Tonight, temperatures falling down to 52 degrees in Great Falls, Lewistown, and Havre. Now, Arctic air is moving in for the start of the work week. What does this mean, though, for us? Well, we're going to talk about all that and more in a few minutes, but for now, back to you, Matt.
All right, thank you, Grant. At the beginning of the pandemic, blood donors were concerned whether any blood-related donation was safe. But in recent months, BioLife's blood plasma collection centers have been deemed critical infrastructure. In fact, there's such a strong need for blood plasma that BioLife is offering donors up to 10 times their usual payment as additional incentive to donate. MTN's Lindsay Hyatt tells us why and how you can help.
Now more than ever, it's a simple saying BioLife Plasma Services has been using to communicate their urgent need for human plasma.
So urgent that they're willing to pay hundreds of dollars to give those with rare, chronic, and complex diseases a lifeline. BioLife representative Julia Elwanger said the organization compensates in exchange for the time, commitment, and effort their donors give. From the 4 hours donors can spend donating each week to the thorough medical questioning they must complete prior to every donation. The more donations BioLife receives, the more plasma they can use to create therapies, and the more lives they have a chance to save.
If you'd like to donate your plasma to somebody in need, you can schedule your first appointment using the BioLife app today. Reporting in Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
Protests happening across the country and gun sales are on the rise nationwide. But an ammunition shortage has left gun shop owners in Montana in a tough spot. Annual gun sales in the U.S. doubled at the beginning of the summer and continue to increase. Ammo sales also went up in the summer, but gun shop owners say ammo has been harder to restock. Gun manufacturers say part of the reason for the shortage is the pandemic, which has disrupted the supply chain. Manufacturing has slowed down or stopped in some parts of the U.S., and exports are harder to come by. Some gun manufacturers say there's a shortage of primer, which is the part of the bullet that makes it explode. James Mitchell, owner of Mitchell Supply in Great Falls, says now is a rough time to be in the gun business.
I hate it when it's like this just because we can't, if people want to buy it, we can't get it. And I mean, it just makes it more difficult. It's a nationwide thing. Eventually they'll catch up. But like I said, it's going to be pretty ugly here for the next few months.
Mitchell also says his store normally sees an increase in gun sales during election years. Spectators were able to be on the sidelines at a high school sporting event in Helena for the first time this year. MTN's Sam Hoyle caught up with parents to see what being able to cheer on their student athletes means to them.
It's a good day for parents of student athletes in Lewis and Clark County. Earlier this week, Lewis and Clark Public Health announced that both the plans that Helena Public Schools and East Helena School District submitted to get spectators on the sidelines this fall were sufficient. And as you can see behind me, parents of student athletes are just having the time of their life as Helena High Soccer takes on Kalispell Flathead and Helena Capital takes on Kalispell Glacier. And when chatting with parents, it seemed like most, if not everyone, was just happy to be on the sidelines. What was your initial reaction?
Super excited.
Hustle up and get the paperwork in so we can actually be there.
Gratitude and relief that that we were going to be allowed to be spectators with some protections in place to keep the players' safety in place and to keep everybody who's in attendance in a safe place. So we were happy to hear it.
You know, it was a really big deal for us. All three of our kids play sports. Sports has been a big deal for us ever since the kids were 3 years old. So being able to watch their games is a really big deal for our family.
I was elated that we were actually able to be on the field. The school did a lot of work ahead of time to make sure that we were all in place with badges. So it was just a matter of the health department giving us the go-ahead. So they did a lot of legwork, so I was really proud of them.
One key difference to note between the plans that Helena Public Schools and East Helena School District did submit: Helena Public Schools will not be allowing any visiting fans on the sidelines or in the stands this fall. East Helena School District will be allowing 2 visiting fans to join them at each home game. Reporting in Helena, Sam Hoyle, MTN Sports.
Well, a new Instagram page is helping some Montanans find their favorite food trucks are in town. Coming up, we'll tell you about the page's creator and how he came up with the idea.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. Queen City Framing and Art Supplies in Helena is having an art call. They're seeking artwork from Montana artists for an October show. This show is Queen City's version of the trend Inktober, where artists are encouraged to draw every day solely with the use of ink. This year's theme, social distance. Artists are encouraged to create the art with their interpretation of social distance and do so only using ink.
We just like to encourage anyone, you know, whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or a professional, it's always nice to have a place to let others see your work. So we just want to encourage drawing.
The last day to submit is September 7th. For more details on rules and how to submit your art, head over to our website. A new Instagram page is helping some Montanans find where their favorite food trucks are in town. MTN's Connor McCauley has more.
The Food Truck Locator Missoula Instagram page is a pretty easy solution to a pretty annoying problem for people. Where's my favorite food truck located today? That's where the developer of the page, Eric Busey, says that this idea got started, that one problematic question.
Always wondering where these food trucks were. I'd see one, and then the next day I'd go there, and then they weren't there, and I never knew what time places were open. And then, you know, it just kind of evolved. I was like, man, I might as well take the initiative to reach out to some of these people. And
the page currently has about 7 to 17 food truck locations on it a day, and Busey says food trucks in town have been super receptive and easy to work with.
You know, went to their food truck and introduced myself, and they're all super supportive of it. I mean, it's helping out them, and it's helping, you know, me and everybody else that's looking for food trucks. So it's kind of a win-win all around.
Local food trucks say the page is a huge help.
I couldn't tell you how many times I get phone calls a day asking where we are, you know, and, you know, this is something that, you know, will help, you know, everybody be able to find all the food trucks around town, which is great.
I think that it's going to help not only us as a food truck, but the entire community. I think it's going to bridge the community with the schedule, with the events that are going on. Yeah, I think it's going to be a super big help.
Busey and the folks over here at Mountain Berry Bowls hope to see the Instagram page continue to gain popularity. They both maybe think that it could develop into an app one day. In Missoula, Connor McCauley, MTN News.
Montana counties have partnered with Helena organizations to bring the Bright by Text program to Lewis and Clark County. The program provides parents and caregivers with tips and local resources for children prenatal to age 8 by text messaging. In a press release, United Way states that 90% of brain development happens by age 5. Interactions at this stage in a child's life are crucial for future learning, behavior, and health. United Way says the Bright by Text program will help parents and caregivers make the most out of these interactions by providing ideas, activities, and more. Information on how to sign up will be on our website.
Well, big changes are on the way starting tomorrow night into Monday morning. Don't go away. Your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you've had a great Saturday night ready for tomorrow. Today was very, very hot, 97 degrees in Great Falls, 98 in Helena. As you headed on down towards Bozeman, 100 degrees, what a whopper, 92 in Jordan and 93 in Havre. Currently, we are looking at way better conditions if you want my advice, my take on it. 70 degrees in Great Falls, 75 in Helena, 72 in Bozeman, 71 in Lewistown. Out towards Jordan, 64 degrees, all thanks to a cold front that has been making its way through. Now, the average for this time of year is around 75 degrees, so we were 22 degrees above the average for this time of year. The record was set back in 1967. We got close to it when it was 98 degrees that year. That was also the year that the average cost for monthly rent, get this, $125. I wish that were the case today. We have looked at a very breezy day too. 31-mile-per-hour winds gusting in both the electric and the capital cities. 39 up towards Cutbank. Towards Lewistown, 29 miles an hour, and as you head on down towards Dillon, 45 miles an hour. We aren't seeing that at all right now. 9-mile-per-hour winds in Great Falls. Over the last 3 hours, we've been tracking these clouds that have been pushing down towards south, towards Billings, and allowing for us to really start to cool down. Our winds have cooled down, so our temperatures will start to take a dive as well. As we head throughout the next several hours tomorrow, we are going to be looking at an elevated risk for fire weather right really around 5:30 in the afternoon, where we're seeing Cutbank down towards Helena. Looking at that, and extreme conditions for fire weather staying out towards Williston, but still with our dry conditions, with the low relative humidity levels, and with our warm temperatures, we're seeing that. Over the next 24 hours as we go throughout the day tomorrow, we are going to be looking at 10 to 20 mile-per-hour winds gusting, maybe a stray 30-mile-per-hour wind gust in there at some point, but our real windy day is going to be coming on Monday when we're going to be seeing 30-mile-per-hour winds gusting there. Now, as we go throughout the night tonight, cold front will start to slip in from Canada. That will allow for a couple of things. Our temperatures tomorrow are going to be a lot cooler, thankfully, but also this is going to set the stage for what's to come. As we head throughout tomorrow in the afternoon, we're going to see our cold front transition to a stationary front. Then we're going to see our winds shift. We're going to actually be able to see some Arctic air be brought in down from Canada, and that's going to allow for our temperatures to really take a dive. We're going to be looking at rain starting off right around 2 in the morning. And we're going to be looking at that slowly but surely creeping down towards Great Falls by around 5:30 in the morning, starting to creep towards Helena. Notice we're pretty much at this point looking at all rain. Going into the later morning hours, around 8:30, we start to see this transition, so to speak, with that Arctic air being poured in from Canada. We're going to be looking at a few places getting snow, mainly along the Rocky Mountain front. That's going to allow for those around 5,000 to 7,000 feet elevation be able to start to see snow, and that wet kind of snow as well. So pretty much everyone that is not in the mountains or in the valleys, we're going to probably just get a lot of rain. That doesn't mean, though, that we couldn't see a few snowflakes as we go throughout the day on Monday. Then going into Tuesday night, this is when we could be looking at a few snow showers possible that will end by 7 in the morning on Tuesday. How much rain could we be receiving, though? Quite a lot. Almost 7/10 of an inch of rain in Great Falls, almost 4/10 in Helena, almost 8/10 in Lewistown, and over 1 inch possible in places like Havre as well as Jordan. And that's been what we've expected over the last 12 hours. The National Weather Service has been saying that. As far as as we go throughout the next couple of days, we're going to be looking at our temperatures really falling down to the 31-degree mark Monday night. Now, you can always stay weather aware by following me at meteorologist Grant Garland on Facebook and downloading that free KRTV app. Tonight, temperatures falling down to 52 in Great Falls, 52 in Lewistown, 54 in Helena. And tomorrow, we're going to be warming up to around 78 degrees, so close to the average for this time of year. 78 in Great Falls, 85 in Helena. You can clearly see the difference between that cold front rather, from Havre on down towards Bozeman. Going throughout the next 3 days, we are going to be looking at temperatures taking a real big dive. 48 degrees on Monday, 90% chance of rain. That we could see a little transition to snow, but very little of that, little to no accumulation. Tuesday, looking at a 20% chance of a morning snow shower, mainly before 7 a.m. And that's the same situation for our friends in Helena too. We're going to be looking at possibly seeing a few snowflakes, but little to no snow accumulation. Matt?
Well, protests that have swept the nation since the police killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis on Memorial Day are now in their 4th month this Labor Day weekend. Michael George with CBS News has the latest from New York.
Protesters squared off in the streets of Louisville as the 146th Kentucky Derby ran nearby at Churchill Downs. Demonstrators demanding justice in the police shooting death of Breonna Taylor exchanged words with a group referring to themselves as the Patriots, some of them armed.
We're not racist because we love this country. We're not racist because we love that flag, support our police officers.
Everybody's pointing the finger at each other, and that could be dangerous.
In Portland, Oregon, police prepared for the 100th night of consecutive protests.
I understand that they're tired, but at the same time, we're tired of you killing black people.
Police say rocks were thrown at them on Friday night, and they declared an unlawful assembly, arresting more than 24 people.
They declare us an unlawful assembly/riot like all the time just for standing here.
Protesters marched through the streets to a police building. Police say some chanted, "Burn it down." In Rochester, New York, what's his name? Daniel Prude! The death of Daniel Prude sparked a third night of protests, this time marked by fireworks, sporadic clashes with police, and the apparent use of tear gas and pepper spray. Footage released earlier this week showed Prude's fatal encounter with officers back in March when they put a spit hood over his head and shoved his face into the ground. Prude stopped breathing and was later taken off life support. Friday, Rochester police also declared an unlawful assembly and ordered the crowd to disperse. Michael George, CBS News.
New York Attorney General Letitia James on Saturday announced her office is moving to impanel a grand jury as part of its investigation into the death of Daniel Prude. 7 officers involved in the encounter with Prude have been suspended. Sports is coming up next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Welcome back. Well, high school football continued around the state tonight, and MTN's Isaiah Dunk has 6-man action for us from Highwood.
Tonight I've been Highwood for week 2 of the 6-man football season. Now last week, Highwood Geraldine put up 66 points on the road against Centerville, but tonight they've got Denton Geyser Stanford. Let's check out the first half.
In the first quarter, it was the Bearcats who were off and rolling early. Very first play from scrimmage. They dial up the senior, Zach Solomon, and he's got some wheels. He would score from about midfield, DGS on top right away, 6-0. Next possession, though, the rivals respond. Fake the handoff, Bryson Bondmiller rolls out and finds the big man. Orrin Harris in the end zone, tack on the 2-point, and it's 8-6 Geraldine Highwood. DGS would force a safety, then on this possession, back to Solomon. Couple of rivals meet him at the goal line, but he tumbles in and DGS goes back on top. Let's go to the second quarter now after the teams trade a pair of turnovers. Looks like a broken play for DGS, but watch. Quarterback Ace Becker stays collected, fires against the grain for a wide open Damon Raprager. Here's a look at your final. In Highwood, Isaiah Dunk, MTN Sports.
And that final score actually hasn't come in yet, but be sure to check out montanasports.com for complete coverage of that final score and more. Well, every year, the Montana East-West Shrine Bowl is the most successful annual fundraiser of the year for the Shriners Children's Hospital in Spokane. But with the game canceled this year due to COVID-19, local organizers have turned to other methods for fundraising. Saturday morning at Eagle Falls, the local temple hosted a golf tournament with 25 teams participating. Several local Shriners Hospital patients were in attendance sharing their stories to keep the message and the mission at the forefront.
Basically what they've done is help me to be able to actually do things that kids with a foot would do. And so in my eyes, they're pretty cool.
What we're doing today, I don't know how much money we're going to make, but one of the important things about it is that we're letting people know that we're still here and we want to help the kids that need help.
Over the past decade, the Montana East-West Shrine football game has raised more than $1 million for the Shriners Children's Hospital in Spokane. We'll be back to check your weather forecast one more time in 2 minutes.
Temperatures falling down to 52 degrees in Great Falls and Havre, 53 in Hayes. Warming up tomorrow to 78 degrees in Great Falls, 85 in Helena, and 69 in Cutbank. As we go throughout the next 3 days, we will have the chance for a great chance for rain on Monday. That could see some isolated snowflakes for those in the lower valleys as we go into Tuesday morning, and we're going to be looking at sunny skies returning after that. And the same situation for our friends at Helena, where the best chance to see any snow will be along the divide.
Well, Rory McIlroy is a 4-time major winner, but on hole 18 at East Lake Golf Club in Georgia today, he was just like the rest of us. Trying to get over the water and onto the green, he mishits the ball, finds the drink. Now he hit his first shot on the 18th hole, 371 yards, his longest drive of his 2 rounds at the Tour Championship. His second shot went about 30 yards, as you're seeing over and over again here, into the water. I don't know about you. This is like more like what I would do if I was golfing.
Yeah, I'd like to go around that.
Yeah, bold of him to try to get it over the water, but that's what would have happened to me too. So hey, Rory McIlroy, just like the rest of us, right?
Yeah, very true.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Good night, Montana.